And welcome back, guys. And again, this is Mikeratto. And for today, we're going to talk about what if Randy Orton ended the streak. Well, Randy Orton challenged for the streak at WrestleMania 21. And during this time, this was his rise to the main event scene. And I'm gonna go with an alternative timeline which Orton ended the streak. What would happen to The Undertaker, to SmackDown, and all of that? Will it have the same effect as in real life because Orton ended the streak earlier? Or will the streak will have a bigger impact just like in real life because it ended earlier? And what does it mean for The Undertaker at this WrestleMania event? Well, here we go. The thing about the streak as well, it was one of the most main attraction in the WWE. Well, if you beat the streak, well, it's more a higher achievement than having world titles because of the deal that The Undertaker beat a lot of guys. And if Orton ended the streak much earlier, it wouldn't have the same impact. Well, for his benefit, for his career, well, it's gonna elevate him. But if you put that match for another rematch to Randy Orton at an earlier or later date rather than WrestleMania 21, well, let's just say he challenged for WrestleMania 29 or WrestleMania 30 instead of having the match at 21. Yes, the match at 21 is great and all, but if you end the streak right there, it wouldn't have the same impact just like in real life. But if you made Orton a certified main eventer at WrestleMania 29 or WrestleMania 30, the streak would have a higher advantage and a higher storyline, and because of the people that The Undertaker defeated. Yes, Orton will benefit if he ended the streak at WrestleMania 21, but the problem here is this was the time that the WWE started to talk about this streak. And if you ended it earlier, well, it doesn't have the same impact as I told you. So let's just say Randy Orton instead of Brock Lesnar challenged for the streak at WrestleMania 30. So what this means for the world title? Well, before TLC or after TLC, months after that, well, Orton will be challenged by Daniel Bryan, and I think just before WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan will challenge Randy Orton, and Orton will drop the title for the storyline to actually work. And I'm just making a dream what if. If you don't like this what if, then I'm fine with it. Because at this time, while Randy Orton is a heel with authority, and yes, at WrestleMania 30, he has this high main event status. But Randy Orton is willing to fight legends just for the sake of going to the WWE. And I know that if in this timeline we put the title much earlier to Daniel Bryan and he fought Triple H or Batista at WrestleMania, will it make the same sense? I'm not sure if it compared to the real life events of WrestleMania 30 where Daniel Bryan defeated Triple H and then defeated the other members of Evolution. So yeah, let's just say that in that match, instead of Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista, it's gonna be Daniel Bryan versus Triple H versus Batista. Just for this what if to go on. And Randy Orton thinks of something. Well, he dropped the title, but he doesn't mind that at all. He wants to achieve a higher thing. He challenged for this before, and he kind of want the vengeance because he was humiliated 9 years ago, to be exact. He wants to fight for the streak again. Well, yeah, if you think about it, it's gonna be Randy Orton's going to much more heel type of thing. And if you think about The Undertaker, well, he made a few appearances. And if the two started the program before Elimination Chamber, well, they can make a good story out of it. And also, well, there's a lot of rematches when it comes to the streak at WrestleMania. Randy Orton will think that he wants to fight The Undertaker at WrestleMania instead of Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker. Well, because Randy Orton is a much more safer worker. And if you think about it, well, Randy Orton, though he doesn't have the same name as Brock Lesnar in terms of popularity because of Brock Lesnar's UFC background, while Randy Orton in pro wrestling itself, he is popular as Brock Lesnar. And if you think about it, we can bring the full heel Orton in 2009 just for the storyline. So the storyline started while Orton wants to challenge for the streak. He asks Kane, where is The Undertaker? He wants to challenge his brother, which Kane in backstage as the corporate guy, he doesn't know how to answer. While he lost all of the communications to The Undertaker since going corporate. And The Undertaker, while he cut his ties with Kane because of this new persona instead of being a monster. Well, that's for their segment. The Undertaker, well, he's gonna appear in a few segments after this. So Orton, he's gonna talk about his achievements. He became the first WWE World Heavyweight Champion after the unification of the title before being beaten by Daniel Bryan for Daniel Bryan's road to WrestleMania. And then, well, Orton actually challenged The Undertaker because he told him that I'm a different person than the last time we fought at WrestleMania, and I want to challenge you yet again at WrestleMania. I'm gonna be the legend killer and I'm gonna end your streak. But this time, I know my mistakes from before. I may come as this venomous viper, but I will not make the rookie mistake I did before. And this time, I will beat you. Like that type of promo. He's gonna talk about his previous self and his current self, which he will talk about his rivalry with Cena, screwing Daniel Bryan, and a lot of his rivalries destroying a lot of superstars in the main roster. As a heel, well, they will show these clips and etc. for his most of his career after he became the Viper. So the legend killer itself is back. And then The Undertaker will accept his challenge. Instead of going the route to Brock Lesnar, he faces Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And at WrestleMania, Orton defeats The Undertaker. While he knows his mistakes, and because of the age gap between these two, the age factor will also come to a play, which in the closing moments of that match, The Undertaker looks so exhausted. Like, there's gonna be a storyline about that, which The Undertaker will look weak at WrestleMania 30 because of the age difference. But this time, there's no concussions for that match, so Undertaker and Orton are making a good storyline of the difference between the two. He's not the same Undertaker as he fought in 2005, and the essence of The Undertaker and the magic compared to those two matches, well, The Undertaker looks tired in that match, and then a final RKO. And then he feels that he does not have to complete that same RKO, like he feels that it is incomplete. That's why in that match, Orton will return the punt kick to end the streak. So why did I end the streak on a punt kick? While the punt kick is a huge deal in 2009, well, in 2010, it actually made superstars out of commission. Example, Chris Jericho. When Orton performed the kick on Jericho, well, he was out for a year before he returned in 2012. So having this protected move perform on the Undertaker at WrestleMania to end the streak, though the match, it has full of RKOs, a lot of offense to Orton and the Undertaker, but I just want the ending to be like that. And if possible, they will redo the spot of chokeslam to an RKO, but Orton is not satisfied at that, and he will do another RKO, which the Undertaker will kick out of that. You know, Orton learning from his rookie mistakes. After that, what happens? Daniel Bryan is still the World Heavyweight Champion after beating Batista and Triple H. And then Daniel Bryan will feud with Triple H at Extreme Rules instead of rushing Evolution versus The Shield. And as for Randy Orton, well, he has the biggest deal since winning the world titles. He now ended the streak, which he will be proud after the day of that. And instead of going quickly for the world championship, he wants to end someone again. And this time, it is his long rival, John Cena. While he fought Cena at the Royal Rumble, and I know Orton and Cena fought there and a lot of matches between the two, but this time Orton will send Cena to the part-time status. What do I mean? Well, after that match between those two, well, let's just say Orton will brutally destroy Cena in a match, which after that match, Cena will take a part-time status much earlier than in real life because, well, he has this part-time schedule after 2016, and instead of that, well, Cena will take Hollywood route much earlier. It means Cena won't win the championship at Money in the Bank with that ladder match, and Daniel Bryan is still the champion. What happens next? Orton again puts his frustration out of his former enemies, and in this time, well, he will find a babyface who will be the stepping stone for his next legend killer match, or just the venomous viper who is eager to destroy all of his former rivals. He destroyed The Undertaker at WrestleMania, he destroyed John Cena, then who's next? Let's just say a babyface on the roster. And then Orton defeated that guy, and after that, well, Orton will challenge Daniel Bryan, and in this time, while Daniel Bryan's injuries are catching up to him, which will lead to an injured type of storyline. And yes, Orton will win the title by default. Well, because Daniel Bryan can't physically actually defend the title. How does that happen? Also, well, in backstage, after Daniel Bryan was actually had a huge match, and then there's gonna be something for an announcement, Orton will punt kick him, but it's a safe punt kick with a huge camera angle just to protect Daniel Bryan. But yeah, Daniel Bryan will take the move. It's just a punt, which they can do camera magic on that. And then after that, the authority announced that Daniel Bryan is out. he's injured, he will vacate the title, and then the new World Heavyweight Champion, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton, in which Randy Orton will have a huge run from here, while he will defeat the guys such as Roman Reigns, who will challenge him much earlier, and then Dean Ambrose will try to challenge him, but Seth Rollins causes Ambrose the match. And then Brock Lesnar will try to beat Randy Orton, but in that match it ended in shenanigans just to protect both guys. Well, because Randy Orton beat the streak and instead of Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar will actually had a huge something for this. Well, because Brock Lesnar did not end the streak, and he has been actually fighting on a lot of guys in the roster. So that WrestleMania, I think the better match is a one-on-one between the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, and then Batista versus Brock Lesnar, in which Brock Lesnar defeats Batista and then Orton defeats The Undertaker, and then that's gonna be the storyline because, well, Brock Lesnar brags that he defeated Batista, which he works as a babyface from now on, which the match ended in shenanigans just to protect both guys, which this rivalry will also extend, but before Royal Rumble or after that, while Orton will actually drop the title back to Brock Lesnar. And then Lesnar, by that point, he will have a title run, I think, either at WrestleMania, after Royal Rumble, he will have a title run. I think it will either end at WrestleMania or at Battleground, or whichever they want to push Roman Reigns through. As for Orton, he's beating the legends of the company. When a legend returned, he will just RKO them. And he will have also a match versus Kane, who actually revert to his former monster mode, in which the two will have a storyline within each other. Kane will win one of their matches, and then Orton will actually win the other one, and then The Undertaker will cost Randy Orton the third one just for two to have the rematch at SummerSlam at that year, or whichever pay-per-view The Undertaker is available at 2015. So, but not at WrestleMania, because Undertaker will go with Bray Wyatt also at WrestleMania. So, after the rivalry between Kane and Orton, while Undertaker interrupts on their third match, Kane beats Orton yet again. It doesn't make him weak because Kane at this time, he was booked as his 1997 self and not his 2014 self. That means Kane is actually unbeatable at the storyline, and his mask at this What If, it is an hybrid of his 2003, 2012, and 1997 self. The attire is like that. So that Kane, when he fight Randy Orton, it's about the vengeance of the streak, and The Undertaker, well, he sent Kane, not Corporate One, to beat Randy Orton. That's the storyline, and then The Undertaker will come for vengeance, and then Taker will win one of their matches, and then Orton ended him yet again at Hell in a Cell. Well, because The Undertaker will put Randy Orton much more and much over. Well, The Undertaker also beat Randy Orton at Hell in a Cell 2005. Why not reciprocate the win 10 years later and give it to Orton? After that, Orton will have to fight for a lot of matches, and then he will take a time off to heal all of his injuries. When he returns, well, I'm not sure if he will have a face pop after that or he will still remain as a heel. But for the sake of it, well, Orton, when he returns, if he gathers which reaction will be, well, the WWE can decide that. And that's it for my short what if. I will not cover the days after that. It's just a 1 year storyline from WrestleMania up to 2015, in which Orton will fight a lot of guys, top caliber stars. So what are the points of this what if? Orton beats the streak. Orton puts Cena in a part-time schedule because Orton taking Cena out, taking him for months because of the punt kick, and they made the punt kick return much earlier than in 2020. Also, Orton beats The Undertaker at Hell in a Cell. That's another. Orton and Brock Lesnar's match ended with the shenanigans, and also the F5 into the RKO happens in that match. Kane from 1997 to 2012 hybrid returns, and is not booked as weak as he is. He is much booked in this timeline, much stronger. The Undertaker will try to have his payback, but he has one match win, and then he will be defeated again by Randy Orton, thus pushing Randy Orton more into this heel, which he will have a lot of heat. And then from that point forward, Randy Orton will fight a lot of top babyface stars, but he will take a time off and he will heal all of his injuries from before. And then when he returns, WWE will take notice of the crowd's pop, whether it is a heel or a babyface reception from him. Well, because he ended the streak, and I think WWE fans also forgave Lesnar in the time that he squashed Cena. That's why he kind of turned babyface right there, or the day that WrestleMania happens, his storyline between Roman Reigns and Brock, which fan hated Reigns. So it's probably gonna happen for Randy Orton also if he takes out Cena, and somehow he will face Roman Reigns in this storyline. So that's it for today, and this is my what if, and this is Mikeratto. Subscribe, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thank you for listening to this what if. Again, have a good day and peace.